Sneaky link in the hood, give me saving the sugar, we don't do base shit. Got an old head with a bag, wanna fuck something bad, that bitch too basic. Tell me the real phone home, keep the chat phone off, she be sharing locations. We out here trying to be the street, trying to catch him in the street, that bitch probation.
Fans and loved ones are mourning the death of Philly rapper and influencer Mia Bennett, also known as Petty Levels. Her record label, Chosen One Records, announced her passing. 23-year-old Bennett had 1 million followers on Instagram and had just posted this picture 1 week ago. No word yet on a cause of death. We've reached out to law enforcement and her family for more information.
In July 2024, a rising rapper and social media figure with a rapidly growing audience was discovered lifeless near Tampa International Airport. Known for blending viral influence with a developing music career, her sudden death raised immediate questions that remain unanswered. Authorities responded to the scene in broad daylight, but early reports offered little clarity. With no initial signs of foul play, the circumstances only deepened speculation about what could have led to such an abrupt end for someone so young and widely followed. Her label confirmed the news but gave no details beyond asking for privacy, leaving fans and observers searching for answers. As investigations continue, details surrounding her final hours remain unclear. What happened near the airport that day, and why did a promising career end so suddenly? The story that follows examines the events as they unfolded and the mystery that still lingers. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Uncovered, where we examine the cases that shake communities and expose what happens behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Mia Armaj Bennett, widely recognized by her stage name Petty Levels, was 23 years old at the time of her death. She was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where her interest in music and social media began early. During her teenage years, she recorded short rap clips and shared them online. These clips quickly attracted attention, allowing her to build a small but growing audience before she graduated from high school. From the beginning, Bennett displayed an ability to merge entertainment and relatability. Her content was not limited to rap alone. She incorporated aspects of her lifestyle that appealed to her audience. This dual focus on personality and artistry positioned her to grow rapidly across multiple platforms. As her following expanded, collaborations with other influencers and music-related accounts became part of her strategy. Brands also began engaging with her, further increasing her visibility in the digital space. Her rise prompts important questions. How does a young artist balance the dual role of influencer and rapper? Could her visibility, while expanding her career, have also created vulnerabilities that placed her at risk? Mia Bennett's career as a rapper gained momentum when she began releasing full-length tracks. Among her notable singles were Ain't It and Malibu, both of which reflected her evolving style. The songs gained streams across digital platforms, signaling that her music was resonating beyond her immediate follower base. One of the key highlights of her career was a feature on Fredo Bang's track Freak, which also included Lado. This collaboration introduced her name to a much wider audience, solidifying her place as more than just a social media personality. Listeners began to associate her with the emerging wave of artists pushing their way into mainstream recognition. Her label, Chosen One Records, played a role in supporting this growth. Through her partnership with the label, Bennett gained access to greater production resources and industry connections. She was also mentioned and reposted by fellow artists, giving her additional visibility across music networks. As an up-and-coming voice in rap, Bennett cultivated a public persona that combined elements of ambition, style, and relatability. Her music and online presence worked together to shape the image of an artist on the rise. Still, questions arise. Was her growing popularity drawing more attention than she realized? Did her lifestyle as a rising rapper and influencer place her in environments where danger was closer than expected? The days leading up to Mia Bennett's death placed her in Tampa, Florida. Reports confirm her travel to the area, but precise details about who she was with and the exact purpose of her trip remain unclear. Whether she was in Tampa for scheduled music-related activities, personal engagements, or another reason has not been officially confirmed. On July 19, 2024, events unfolded that would draw the attention of both local authorities and national media. At approximately 1:30 p.m., Tampa police responded to a call in the area of Northwest Tampa, near Boy Scout Boulevard, a location close to Tampa International Airport. When they arrived, they discovered Bennett deceased at the scene. Witnesses or individuals who may have alerted authorities have not been publicly identified. What is known is that police secured the area immediately and confirmed her death upon arrival. According to official statements, there were no obvious signs of foul play at the location. The condition of the scene suggested that investigators would need to rely on autopsy results and further inquiry to determine the cause of death. Law enforcement emphasized that an investigation was underway, but details remained limited to the public. This sequence of events raises critical questions for those following the case. Why was she in Tampa on that day? Who had knowledge of her travel plans? Was she scheduled to meet someone shortly before she was found dead? The discovery of Armaj Bennett, professionally known as Petty Levels, initiated a multi-layered investigation led by local authorities. The Tampa Police Department assumed the primary role, responding to the call and securing the area where her body was found. Their first responsibility was to assess the scene and determine whether immediate criminal activity was evident. After a preliminary review, officials stated that no obvious signs of foul play were detected. This did not close the matter. It only shifted the inquiry toward alternative explanations. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner's Office took possession of the case, tasked with establishing the official cause of death. Their involvement would typically include autopsy procedures, toxicology testing, and compiling a final report. However, at the time information began reaching the public, no findings had been released. Instead, statements emphasized that results were pending and authorities avoided speculation. This withholding of details served to keep the investigation intact, but created a vacuum of information. Without a declared cause of death, questions multiplied. Was the case medical in nature, linked to an undiagnosed condition? Could substances, whether illicit or prescription, have played a role? Or was there an intentional act involved, either self-inflicted or through another party who left no visible trace at the scene? Another crucial factor remained unaddressed. Who was the last individual to have contact with her before her death? As these unanswered questions lingered, online spaces became filled with theories. Social media, already closely tied to her public image, turned into the main arena for speculation. Fans, followers, and commentators contributed a range of narratives, none of which were supported by official evidence. Some posts claimed she had overdosed. Others pointed to suicide, while few suggested hidden violence overlooked by the initial investigation. None of these claims were validated by authorities, yet the lack of updates allowed them to spread widely. The silence from official channels inadvertently fueled these rumors. The police confirmed no signs of foul play, but did not explain what evidence led them to that assessment. The medical examiner did not publish any preliminary findings, leaving the public with little more than guesses. In the absence of clarity, speculation gained momentum, creating an alternate version of events across digital platforms. While investigators maintained their silence, public statements did come from her professional and personal circles. Her record label, Chosen One Records, confirmed the death in a brief announcement. The statement provided no insight into circumstances or causes. Instead, it focused on confirming the passing, requesting prayers, and asking the public to respect the family's privacy. The brevity of this message left many seeking further answers, but none were offered. Her family also responded cautiously. Publicly, they expressed grief and acknowledged the loss, but refrained from discussing the details surrounding her final hours. No timeline of her movements was provided, nor did they reveal whether they had been in contact with her immediately prior to the incident. The absence of additional context led observers to question whether they were withholding information deliberately or simply choosing not to engage with speculation. Efforts to protect personal details were evident. Unlike some high-profile cases where family members grant interviews or release expanded statements, Bennett's relatives remained largely out of the spotlight. This decision prevented further intrusion, but simultaneously increased curiosity. Viewers and followers were left wondering, why had the family remained so silent on specifics? Was their silence a protective measure against misinformation, or could it indicate there was more to the case than had been made public? These unanswered questions meant that the family's position became part of the narrative itself. Their refusal to elaborate added another layer of mystery, even as they attempted to remove themselves from speculation. Media coverage quickly divided into two distinct categories: mainstream reporting and alternative narratives. Established outlets, such as The Sun, Pop Culture, and Tampa Bay Times delivered accounts based on official statements. They reported the discovery, the police involvement, the lack of foul play, and the pending autopsy. These reports were factual but minimal, mirroring the limited details released by investigators. Readers received confirmation of her death, knowledge of the location, and acknowledgement that the investigation remained open, but little beyond that. On the other side, social platforms and independent blogs filled the gaps with unverified claims. Some users insisted that she had been the victim of violence that authorities overlooked. Others advanced theories involving overdose or suicide. A separate group pointed to her career and personal lifestyle, suggesting that pressures from fame or associations within the music industry played a role. None of these theories carried verified evidence, yet they attracted engagement, spreading quickly in the absence of hard facts. The influence of such narratives highlighted the tension between factual reporting and rumor. While mainstream outlets remained limited by the lack of release information, social media discussions thrived precisely because of it. The longer authorities withheld updates, the more space rumors had to grow. This dynamic raises key questions. How do sensationalized headlines shape the perception of an investigation? Do rumors, amplified by social platforms, hinder the ability of the public to distinguish fact from speculation? And when authorities maintain silence, does that silence protect the integrity of the case or unintentionally fuel misinformation? The investigation into the death of Armaj Bennett demonstrates how the absence of details can shift the narrative from confirmed fact to speculation. The Tampa Police Department and the Hillsborough County Medical Examiner both played defined roles, but withheld findings pending further examination. Public responses, including the statement from Chosen One Records and the family's limited engagement, confirmed the death without addressing the lingering uncertainties. Mainstream media coverage mirrored the minimal facts provided, while alternative sources and social media filled the vacuum with unverified claims ranging from medical issues to intentional acts. This created a dual narrative, one based on restraint and official procedure, the other on speculation and rumor. Key questions remain. Was her death accidental, medical, or intentional? Were substances involved? And if so, what kind? Who last saw her alive? And what information has yet to be shared? Why have the family and investigators withheld specifics for such an extended period? Until authorities release the full findings, the case remains open to interpretation. The darkness surrounding her final hours continues to invite scrutiny, leaving viewers to consider which version of events holds weight and which is built on speculation. The circumstances surrounding the death of Armaj Bennett, widely known as Petty Levels, remain incomplete due to several unresolved aspects. While her discovery near Tampa International Airport was publicly confirmed, the most important detail, the cause of death, has not been released. The medical examiner for Hillsborough County conducted the required examinations, but no official statement has been provided about what led to Bennett's sudden passing. In similar cases, investigators often share preliminary findings to provide some clarity. Here, however, authorities have remained silent. Without this disclosure, speculation has continued unchecked. The results of the autopsy, including the condition of her body and any medical indicators, have been withheld. No report has been provided to the media or the public. This absence of transparency fuels questions. Was there a medical emergency, an undetected condition, or evidence pointing elsewhere? Until the findings are released, every explanation remains a possibility. Toxicology results, which often determine the presence of substances, remain undisclosed as well. These results could answer critical questions about whether external factors played a role. With no timeline given for their release, the investigation remains incomplete in the public eye. Beyond the silence of official reports, The impact has been visible in the communities that followed her career. Petty Levels was more than a musician. She was a digital presence whose videos, lyrics, and style resonated with audiences who saw her as a rising figure in rap culture. Her sudden absence created a gap for her followers, many of whom had connected to her as both an artist and an influencer. Young audiences, particularly those who followed her online journey from high school to professional collaborations, saw in her a blueprint for success through persistence and social media strategy. The loss of her voice interrupts not only her career, but also the model she represented for others attempting the same path. With no official explanation, the story remains incomplete. Police confirmed the death. The medical examiner examined the body, and the label acknowledged the loss, but none of these actions have provided finality. The investigation has not offered a cause, and without this, the narrative remains suspended. This gap leaves open a set of possibilities that can only be closed when the authorities release their findings. The unresolved elements raise several critical questions for anyone following this case. Will the cause of death ever be publicly disclosed? If results exist, why are they being withheld? What truths are being kept from the public? And who benefits from the silence? Until these questions are answered, the case remains an unfinished story with gaps larger than the facts currently available. The death of Petty Levels does not exist in isolation. When placed alongside other cases, it highlights a series of broader issues surrounding young artists in the music industry, the role of social media, and the way investigations are communicated to the public. The music industry, and rap in particular, has seen a recurring pattern of young artists facing sudden, unexplained deaths. While some of these incidents are linked to violence, others involve unexplained medical or accidental causes. Petty Levels' case fits into a wider category where rising rappers, often in their early 20s, experience abrupt ends before their careers fully develop. The pattern prompts a larger inquiry. Is there a recurring factor tied to pressures, environments, or risks faced by emerging talent? Does visibility in music and social media place individuals in circumstances that heighten vulnerability? In the case of Petty Levels, the overlap between being a musician and a social media influencer must be considered. Online platforms amplify exposure, offering both opportunity and risk. While this visibility drives careers forward, it can also draw attention that is not always beneficial. Was her dual role as an influencer and rapper part of what placed her in difficult circumstances? Was the environment in which she was discovered connected to her online or industry connections? These are questions that highlight the intersection between digital fame and real-world consequences. Another implication lies in how investigations are communicated. In this case, the silence of the medical examiner and police has created an information vacuum. When official voices withhold details, unverified narratives quickly emerge. Social media then becomes a platform where speculation replaces fact, and audiences build conclusions from incomplete information. This silence raises a question of process. How much information should be disclosed during an open investigation? While investigators may argue that withholding details protects the integrity of the case, the absence of communication allows misinformation to spread unchecked. High-profile cases involving public figures attract wide attention. The audience, fans, and the broader public expect transparency, particularly when the individual had a visible career. In this situation, the lack of updates or clarity has left many without closure. Transparency does not necessarily require revealing every detail, but a structured release of confirmed information can provide accuracy and prevent distortion. The unresolved nature of this case leads to broader questions that remain unanswered. What really happened in Tampa on July 19th? Who has the information that has not been shared? Could this case reflect a larger pattern within the music industry, where young artists face heightened risks tied to their careers and exposure? Until authorities release the findings and close the gaps, the case of Petty Levels remains an unfinished chapter. It stands as both a specific event and part of a larger discussion about transparency, the risks of fame, and the patterns seen among rising artists in today's industry. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.